Yes, welcome to the live stream for today. You're with me, Arun Sharma, on my channel, and I hope all of you are subscribed to the channel and and are enjoying the content on the channel. I hope to be a little bit more regular and of course valuable for you in the coming days and weeks and months and years. Because I actually wanted to pick up the channel and do a little bit of work for you guys. But today's video is about so I am able to see the video now from my side. So today's chat page, the chat is on the last month's strategy for quants. Some of you have been asking me specifically after my VA video, and I hope you've seen the VRC video about the last 30 days. So in today's video, I'll also be able to take your chats, etc. Hi Amit, welcome to the session, and I'll be able to take chats with you and answer your queries. But we'll be on topic, right? So the topic is quants and what we can do about quants in the last 30 odd days. Less than 30 days now, I know, but still we can expand time a little bit, do the work of around 30 days and 20-25 days that we have left, and all the best to all of you. So here goes. So what are my thoughts? What are the key things you should be focusing on? And I'll be live till maybe 12:05, so you can just stay rooted and also spread the message around that I'm live now. So maybe some of your friends would like to join in, right? So Himadri's question. No, Lord Arun Sharma. This is just a plain and simple guy. That's what I am. So Himadri's question, I mean, I think your question will get answered as I keep going ahead, Himadri. So the first thing I would want each one of you to do is kind of audit your current level of preparation. And audit I think what are the key numbers I would look at if I was in your place. So the first number I would look at, and this would be in the context, I'm not talking about, ठीक है, वो वाला audit तो तुमने किया ही होगा कि कितने chapters मैंने कर लिए हैं, how many chapters I've already done, what chapters are left, etc. How many chapters I've covered, how many times, all that audit you know, right? So that is of course part of the audit, you should know that, but that's not something that you have to find out, you already know that. So in the audit that I'm talking about, there are a couple of things that I would want from you. And one of that you already know again, when you are taking a mock in your QA section, what is the number of questions you are attempting and what is the number of corrects? So broadly, I mean, I always tell people that it's not rocket science. How do you get scores in the CAT? When I go into the CAT in the quant section, I would be able to solve something around 18 to 20 questions in 40 minutes, maybe get all of them correct or maybe one or two errors. Sometimes I make stupid errors. So that's why my score would typically be somewhere in the range of 45 to 60, 65, depending on my performance on the day. So I know that if you give me the quant section in the next 40 minutes, I'll be able to solve 18 to 20 questions there. So similarly, your audit has to be what is your normal attempts and what is your corrects. So there'd be a number for each one of you, right? And once you get that, the second, so this is something you already know because you're taking mocks and you're getting information about the mocks and your performance in the mocks from there. But a second aspect of the audit, which is very important because, of course, I mean, let's say I'm somebody who's attempting 12 questions and getting 9 correct on an average. This is where I'm stuck. So what should I do so that I can do 16, 17 questions and get 12, 13 correct? Because if I can raise this to 16 and get this to 13, my scores will go up, right? So what should I be doing is the question mark that comes into my mind. And that's the question mark. So to find that, the other part, the second part of the audit, which is very important, very important, the second part of the audit is how does the attempts and corrects change if you are doing it in unlimited time. That means you take 80 minutes on the section, not 40. You give yourself 80 minutes and try to see out of 22 questions the QA section has. Out of those 22 questions, how many can you solve? So typically what happens is that the number of attempts you have is limited to somewhere between 60 to 80% of the knowledge that you have of how many questions you can actually solve. So let's say there's somebody who's attempting 12 questions and on an average knows 16 questions out of 22. So in that case, he or she is attempting 75% of what he or she knows. तो इस स्टूडेंट को अगर अपना स्कोर बढ़ाना है तो जब तक ये knowledge नहीं बढ़ेगा, till this knowledge does not go up, वो 12 attempt पे रहेगा. Because it's not possible that you know 16 questions out of 22 in the exam, and you can find all those 16 questions and they'll all strike you inside the exam, and you don't know those 6 questions, you'll be able to remove those 6 questions. It does not happen that way. On an average, if you know 16 questions, you'll be able to solve around 12, 13 at best, right? On bad days, you might just solve 10 of them, right? And if your ratio between your unlimited time knowledge and your limited time, your mock attempts is anywhere between 75-80%, it means you're pretty much solving most of what you know. So if you want to raise your attempts, you will have to increase your knowledge. So that's what the audit will give you. On the other hand, if unlimited time knowledge is 20 questions and you're only solving 12, then you are on the lower end of that spectrum, and maybe you should be able to increase your attempt to 15, 16 without raising your knowledge. So that gives the scope. Okay, so what should be your next work, next dimension of work? Should it be more knowledge work, or should it be more speed and performance based work, right? So that this is your first level of audit, and from this audit, what happens once you have this audit? What happens is you get to know what is the conversion ratio, and of course the other factor is you also try to look at, when you do this audit, you look at why this leakage. You know 12 questions, you're getting only 9 correct. What is creating that leakage? Is it that you are making those mistakes because of the fact that you are making one error in a question, one stupid error or one conceptual error inside a question, or is it because you simply lose it under pressure, and outside the exam you could have done it, right? So that's another thing, another leakage you will try to focus on blocking in the last month or so. So once you have done this macro audit, the next part is of course the micro audit. Okay, you go down into blocks. You know my book has 5 blocks: arithmetic, algebra, number systems, geometry, and modern maths. So those 5 blocks, you do a micro audit on the block, at the block level. You do a micro audit on the chapter level, and maybe you also do, if required, you do a micro audit on a concept level. What do I mean by this? So block, as I said, the arithmetic has 8 chapters. So what's happening on those 8 chapters? What is your, let's say on an average your mock tests are giving you 9 questions, 8 to 10 questions on it. What is your knowledge? With unlimited time, are you able to solve all of them? Or is there a gap between what you can solve and what is given in the exam? So is there still some knowledge gap? For example, in the previous slide, 22 questions in the exam, I know 16. So that gives you a knowledge gap of 6 on average. There are 6 questions in every exam that you don't know, which means that there are some areas, either some blocks or some chapters, or maybe some sub-concepts inside chapters where it's failing for you. So obviously the work that you do will get split into knowledge work and speed and performance work. And if you need knowledge work and you're doing speed and performance work, or you need this will not work for you. You need this and you do this, it will not work for you. So, and in the last 20-25 days, because time is at premium, it becomes very important for you to find out exactly what you need to do, right? And that's why you need to spend a little bit of time in looking at this from a block perspective, group of blocks. So when I talk about block, as I mentioned, the 5 blocks in quants are numbers. So this consists of the 2 chapters of number systems and progressions. This is how I've organized my book for you also. Then you've got arithmetic. So the arithmetic block has the chapters starting from average, percentage, ratio proportion, alligation and mixtures, time and work, time, speed, distance, interest, profit and loss. These are the 8 chapters that come in the arithmetic part. Then you've got, so I'll do a chapter-wise analysis also for you, what you should be doing in the last month, and so on. Then you've got the algebra block, which has functions, inequalities, logs, and equations. 4 chapters. Then you've got the geometry block, which has got geometry, mensuration and coordinate geometry. And then finally you've got the modern maths block, which has got permutation, combination, probability and set theory. So these are 5 blocks that you need to analyze. So when you go to the micro audit, look at each of these blocks, try to find out what is your degree of knowledge. Do you have knowledge deficiency on it blockwise, or do you have performance deficiency? And if you've got neither knowledge deficiency nor performance deficiency on a block like, let's say, arithmetic, 8-9 questions come and I'm able to solve all 9, then pretty much that's sorted, right? Inside the exam I'm able to solve all 9, then it's pretty much much sorted, right? And to the question Vivek Rathore is asking how to make accuracy with speed, please remember you learn to walk first before you learn to run. So once you know how to do things right, you can do it fast. So maybe you need to improve the quality of your solving so that you can start getting things correct before you start doing it quickly, right? So and the moment you learn to walk, learning to run is just a natural extension of learning to walk. So doing things fast will happen automatically once you know how to do things right. So focus on getting things right first. Then the same micro audit on chapters. You might want to evaluate. Sometimes you might be able to find a gap inside a block. कि चलो मेरा modern maths नहीं अच्छा चल रहा है, मेरा algebra अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है. You will find something like that. कि my algebra knowledge is weak, my algebra performance is weak. I know the questions, but I'm not able to solve it there. So identify that gap, right? And also identify blocks in which there's no gap. In arithmetic, I've got no gap. My knowledge is good, my performance outcomes also good. 9 questions come in the exam, I'm able to solve 8 of them all the time. In some good days, I'll be able to solve 9. So that it means a clear indication that you don't want to do anything on that in the last month because you don't want to spend time on things that are already working, right? It's not going to help you improve your scores or anything. So coming back, do the same thing on the chapter. So sometimes what might happen, inside a block, one chapter might be working well for you, another might not. You might be doing okay at the logs chapter, but you might not be doing okay at the functions chapter. You might be doing okay at the equations chapter, but may not be doing okay at the inequalities chapter. You might be doing okay at the average allegation chapters, but not be okay at the time and work time speed distance chapter. So try to find out again whether it's a knowledge gap, knowledge and ability gap on a chapter, or it's a performance and speed gap on the chapter. Because I know how to do things, but I can't do them fast. Or under pressure, I have a tendency to crack in this chapter. So look at both those things there. And of course, at some points within a chapter also sub-concept you might, so time speed distance, you might want to check a sub-concept like circular motion. Okay, are you able to do questions or not? So what will happen when you do this audit, this double audit, and you come up with an issue, either in a block or a concept or a chapter, then the repair work starts. Okay, the repair work gets defined. What should I do inside the question? What should I do? What should I do inside that chapter to repair it? So if there's a knowledge and ability gap, then the solution is pretty simple. On a block, 250 questions. You pick up 250 questions, and most of them, I mean, if you can self-problem solve 250 questions from wherever you are, that issue will go, right? And at the rate of, let's say, since you're on the last 25 odd days, at the rate of 80 to 100 questions a day, which is the speed you can actually pick up when you're trying to solve an issue which is working against you for this exam, then this is basically 3 days work. So you could be starting effectively on 31st October and finishing on 2nd November. And 250 questions, कोई भी करे, मैं भी करूँगा एक ब्लॉक पे 200-250 क्वेश्चन उठा के मेरा वो ब्लॉक का सॉल्विंग इम्प्रूव कर जाएगा, even at my level. So 250 is the solution for a block. A chapter gets solved at around 100 to 150, 125. So if you find a deficit in knowledge and ability in a chapter, let's say you find an ability and knowledge deficit in a chapter like ratio proportion, pick up 100 to 125 questions of ratio proportion and sit and solve them. So these questions, when you pick up, can also be the CAT previous year questions. They should be now. They can also be questions from your mocks, and they can also be questions from your books. So it could be a mixture of all three, right? So this is the solution for it. If it's a concept problem, number system में remainder theorem बहुत अच्छे से solve नहीं होता है, तो concept problem gets solved in 25 questions. You pick up 25 good quality questions on that and solve them, you should be done. So 3-day solution here, 1.5 day solution here, and half a day, not even half a day, 2-3 hour solution there. So this is if it's a knowledge and ability issue. Now if knowledge and ability is fine on a chapter or on a concept or a block, then the other thing you have checked is your performance and speed. Are you able to do it? You know how to do these questions, you know how to do the chapter. Are you able to do that chapter? Are you able to do the questions under pressure? And are you able to do it at speed? In some of my videos on the channel, I have exhibited blitz solving to you, and I'll be doing a lot of blitz solving lives with you guys. I'm planning to pick up the CAT 21, 22 papers and show you solutions of questions so that you get to see how the toppers think inside questions. And I'll be showing you my specific methods, which sometimes are very unconventional, but very effective in a lot of these questions. So coming back, so Saurabh, I think I've answered your question. You're unable to solve 4-5 questions in quants, so that means you're able to solve 17-18. So there's a knowledge gap. So find that knowledge gap, whether it's a block-wise knowledge gap or an individual chapter knowledge gap, and the solution is this. I mean, the question does arise that does these number of questions, do they all need to be self-problem solving? The answer is yes. From my side, it's yes, if possible. Naito, you can take a 20-80 ratio. That means you solve 20% of these questions through assisted problem solving. That means you watch a video or you try to see somebody else solving it, or you try to read a solution for it, and 80% at least you do on your own. So that's what's going to be helping you. Now if it's a problem of performance and speed, then so of course when you're solving for knowledge and ability and looking at these questions, you're not really looking at how much time you're taking on a question. You have no time limits. You keep the watch aside, you keep your stopwatches aside, and you're just trying to see and facing the question and trying to solve the question. But when you are doing the same thing for performance and speed, if you have a performance and speed gap in a chapter, let's say you have a performance and speed gap in time, speed, distance, which means that without pressure you're able to solve all the time, speed, distance questions. But when time pressure comes in and when exam pressure comes in, you falter in 1 or 2 questions out of 4. So if that is happening, then you need some work, some exercises, some practice this thing, and you have to think typically like an athlete in this, or an athlete preparing for an Olympic event, a batsman in the Indian cricket team preparing for his next match. You think like that. What am I able to do in the nets? I have to go out and do it in the exam or inside the match, because only the runs you score in the match will count. So once you if it's a performance and speed issue on a chapter, the numbers remain the same. So you will pick up 100 to 125 questions in the chapter, but now you will solve this with the stopwatch. So you will try to keep a limit. So you keep blocks of 10 questions and give yourself 20 minutes. Okay, I want to get through this 10 questions in 20 minutes. And if you can't get through 10 questions in 20 minutes, let's say you're taking a little bit more time, you can give yourself a little bit time to expand, but you try to go to, okay, 25 में खत्म करना है, 23 में खत्म करना है. Not कि 20 क्रॉस हो गया तो 50 मिनट ले लिया, कितना भी टाइम ले लिया और आराम से कर रहे हैं, नहीं. So you have to solve with the stopwatch in place. When you pick up a question, you have to give yourself the 2-minute limit कि I have to solve this in 2. 2 में नहीं हुआ, 2 स्टेप और करके 2.5 में हुआ, 2:40 में हुआ, चलेगा. लेकिन वो टाइम प्रेशर होना चाहिए when you're doing that solving, because otherwise all the practice you've done has not been with the ticking clock in front of you. And as you know, a lot of you, that ticking clock creates a lot of psychological problems when you're solving. So if you're used to it, that's the best way to take care of it. So the numbers will remain same. If I've got a performance and speed problem in a block, let's say arithmetic में मैं solve तो कर लेता हूँ, लेकिन I don't have the blitz solving, 6th gear solving with me. I don't have pressure solving. Under pressure I have a tendency to crack in a few questions. I'll pick up 250 questions of arithmetic, put time pressure on myself and put performance pressure on myself. I break them down into 25 tests of 10 questions each. And then what will I do? I'll put the stopwatch and I'll give myself 20 minutes and see how much I score. Can I get through 7-8 questions in 20 minutes? And the last 2 questions in 4 minutes. So what will happen is maybe the first 10 questions you'll do in 28 minutes. But as you keep doing it 10 questions every time, you'll start getting sharper, you'll start getting tighter, you'll start getting more efficient. And what will happen is you'll start doing it in 23 minutes, and then finally you'll start doing it in 21 minutes. And then finally you'll have the ability inside the exam, कि last 2 minutes है arithmetic का question उठाया उसको solve कर लिया, and that'll give you the extra 3 marks. So this is very, very critical for you, right? So this is the exercise you would do, and on a concept level it will be 25 questions. So number of questions will remain same, but the emphasis of how you do them will be different. That's the perspective, right? If it's a knowledge gap, questions उठाओ उतने और उसको बैठ के solve करो आराम से, प्यार से, time लेके. अगर knowledge gap नहीं है, performance और speed gap है, तो बैठ के उसको under time pressure, under score pressure solve करो कि 10 में से कितना ला पाता हूँ मैं. And दोनों नहीं है, you're ready. Relax on that area. किसी chapter में दोनों नहीं है, performance gap भी नहीं है और knowledge gap भी नहीं है. Great, that chapter you can close, you can just maintain it. जो भी mock test में questions आ रहे हैं उसको देखते रहो बस, और कुछ मत करो. So then the other thing, जैसे a lot of you asking this कि अभी start किया, कुछ portion नहीं किया है. So not covered portion, कुछ portion नहीं किया है. So is some portion advisable now, or should I just not do any portion? So my advice on that is going to be built on a simple fact, on a simple question or a simple logic, that anything that you initiate now, let's say you're initiating something on 1st November, you're initiating something on 5th November, you're initiating something on 10th November, exam is on 26th. You want to initiate only those cycles of preparation that will get completed before 26th. A cycle of preparation that will get completed on 1st December and give you an outcome of 2nd December is not something to be applied here. So in that context, what do I think? What do I think? Let's just go into the chapters. What are the chapters which have a payoff, which can possibly have a payoff inside 1 week? कि इस चैप्टर में से 3 क्वेश्चन अगर आएगा या 2 क्वेश्चन आएगा तो अभी 0 हो रहा है, 1 तो हो जाना चाहिए, मे बी दोनों हो जाना चाहिए. So which are the chapters that could actually and maybe you can pick up 3 or 4 or 5 of these chapters, because to cover one of these chapters will take you 3 days. So if you are in that state, ideally you should not have been in that state, लेकिन अगर वहाँ पहुँच गए हो, I'll just mark out the chapters जो तुमको 15 दिन के अंदर, 3 दिन के अंदर एक राउंड हो जाएगा. 5-6 दिन बाद एक बार फिर से रिवाइज कर लो उस चैप्टर को, एंड इनसाइड द एग्जाम अगर 2 क्वेश्चन आएंगे उस चैप्टर पे तो एक तुमसे हो जाएगा, you'll be able to solve one of them, right? So क्या करना चाहिए, कौन कौन चैप्टर्स? मैं जस्ट अपना गट फील के साथ जा रहा हूँ एंड आई एम जस्ट मार्किंग इट डाउन. These are the chapters that can actually pay off within a week, within this time frame. Arithmetic, pretty much any chapter can pay off in 25-day time frame. If you have not done it till now, you can actually, this maybe time split distance को बाहर रखेंगे, but otherwise all the chapters are 3-day visits with a 1-day revision in later. Of course you can't do all that I'm circling, but so if you've done nothing, then maybe you just have time to do 4 or 5 of these. But if there are a couple of chapters here or there which you have not done, and you want, I mean the focus should not be on covering the chapters, the focus should first be on these gaps. The focus, please remember, don't get confused, the focus should be first on these gaps. But जिस chapters को cover नहीं किए हो, अभी तुम्हारे पास करीब 3 या 4 chapter को और add करने का time है, तो you pick up those. Of course arithmetic are the important chapters. यहाँ पे क्या work करेगा? Algebra में logs work करेगा. Geometry mensuration में mensuration शायद work कर सकता है one round with one day of follow up. Modern maths में permutation combination work कर सकता है. At least the easier ones you will be able to solve. I mean if you initiate the process now, you'll be able to solve on the D-Day. So this is what I would do. These are the chapters I would mark. Number system, no. Time split distance, not very advisable to do it if you're not done till now. कर लेना चाहिए था, important chapter है. Logs, functions, equations भी, मतलब अगर functions, equations में पढ़ाई करोगे अभी तो वो 2 chapter तुमको 15 दिन ले लेंगे और कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे बाकी. So that's why I'm not marking them down. Permutation combination is a 3-day chapter. अगर ठीक से कोई समझा दे तो मतलब आज स्टार्ट करो, 3 दिन बाद तुमको समझ में आ जाएगा वो चैप्टर. ऐसे ज़िंदगी भर नहीं समझते हैं लोग. That's what I tell my students. Mensuration is again something that can start working in 3-4 days. So that's so these are all the topics that you can still, some of these topics you can still cover if you have not done, right? So I'll just take some questions from you. Always stuck in variable based questions in arithmetic. Identifying the variables becomes an important part, Vivek. So one of the things that I've talked about in a lot of my quants videos has been that the more control you have of the variables, the more control you get of your questions. मैथ्स में जब तक स्टोरीज पढ़ रहे हो तब तक कुछ नहीं होता है, वेरिएबल्स पे फोकस करना शुरू कर दो, तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन सॉल्व होने लगेगा, राइट? या 6-7 क्वेश्चंस कर सकते हो सौरभ, मतलब अगर 8-10 चैप्टर अरिथमेटिक भी ठीक अगर हो गया तुम्हारा तो 6-7 क्वेश्चंस तुम कर सकते हो, राइट? हाउ टू डू रिविजन में आई थिंक वन ऑफ द की पार्ट्स ऑफ रिविजन इज टू एक्चुअली गो बैक एंड सॉल्व एवरी क्वेश्चन यू सॉल्व टिल नाउ. जितना भी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किया अभी तक उसको रिवाइज करना, रिव्यू करना बहुत ज़रूरी है तुम्हारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. So those of you who do not have any knowledge or performance gap anywhere, just make sure that you are just reviewing and revising and redoing all the questions. और redo जब करते हो questions को तो question को पूरा solve करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. मतलब you just flowchart the question. You read the question in your mind, say okay, this is my first step, this is my second step, this is my third step. Don't do the calculations involved. Don't do the steps involved. And just flowchart the question. This is how this question will get solved, and that's it. Don't do anything else. That's revision, right? And those of you who have not covered the previous year questions, please make sure that CAT 99 to 2008 and CAT 17 to 22, every question you should know. Somebody asked me on the channel the other day, is it feasible to solve in the last month to solve the previous CAT papers as mocks? Not just feasible, it's very advisable and it's very necessary. Ideally, you should have been solving the previous mock papers from August, September. अभी तक नहीं किया हो तो लास्ट मंथ में इसको ज़रूर कर लो. And continue taking your tests and keep tests and sectional tests से mixed रखो अपना time and keep trying to raise your attempts and raise your accuracy. Thank you so much. I'll be back with DI tomorrow around the same time. I'll be doing my lives in the mornings only. So do look forward. And I'll try to announce at least a couple of hours before on a post on the channel. So do subscribe and do press the bell icon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.